Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic. We're going to start today with the first session of the free training course of how to grow your emotional intelligence to develop an agile mind. My name is Josie Garnica. I'm your performance coach and your training facilitator, as well as the founder of the Agile Mind Lab. So let's get started. So the training course schedule is 4 sessions program, which is the first one today, why EQ and what is it. Tomorrow we will have how to be accountable, and the next session will be a Q&A session on Thursday, where you can ask whatever you want, before and after and during. And then final thoughts and some prizes. So first session today, why EQ and what is it? Let's cover what is why IQ. We need a why IQ and why we need to work on this and what is it, how EQ works, and how to improve our relationship with our emotions is the last part. I want to start with this example, which is very illustrative and it makes the point very straightforward. Imagine I have hurt my hand on the left and I have a hammer on the right, like exactly in the picture. Imagine I take this hammer with all my strength and I start hitting and hitting my hurt hand. What would you say? Or what would you think? You will think, Josie, you got mad, you got crazy, what are you doing? What is wrong with your life? Okay, this that seems insane in the physical world is what we normally or we many times do in the emotional world. Okay, we think. So when I fail, I say to myself, oh, I'm not good enough. What's wrong with me? What I have done? I'm so stupid. Why not going to learn? I'm not going to succeed ever. I'm a failure. Boom, 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 boom. Rumination. This emotional rumination and self-torture that I call is something that we have all suffered in some times in life, and sometimes we're still suffering. And this is the point of this slide is that physical health is given more importance than emotional or psychological health. And the point here that we want to make today in Agile Mind Lab is emotional first aid. Okay, to take care of our emotions, of our inner self, and to be more loving and compassionate with our inner world. So my name is Josie Garnica. As I said before, I'm a performance coach. I coach startups and entrepreneurs to help them and support them to create business cultures where people can thrive. That's my mission. And we start recently this Agile Mind Lab to train or to coach other people or offering training programs to individuals as well. So the quality of your life depends on your relationship with your emotions and how you told to yourself. I want to share personal stories. My father is Japanese, my mother is Spanish, all right? And I'm not sure if you know this, but in the Japanese culture, we struggle to express our emotions. And actually, it's common that people repress their emotions. That was one of my biggest weakness, all right? And probably that's why I became a coach because I'm learning still how to express my emotions. I have a much better relationship with my emotions, and this transformed my life completely. Okay, because I don't see fear as a weakness now, but as my biggest advisor. Okay, what you most fear is probably what you most need to do. And when I collaborate with my emotions now and I have this good relationship, everything just changes completely. And my self-talk also changed a lot. Instead of being a perfectionist mindset where I'm just demanding and demanding and never is enough and, struggling and working so hard and limitless, I try to get my balance within and without. Okay. So that's why I feel this is very important and people should know these as basis and they should be teaching these things in the school. And I will share the best practice I have so far in terms of how to relate better with your emotions. Okay. I'm also the founder of Coach Attract Dreams, which is a coaching and consultancy business. I'm also a practitioner, neurochange practitioner, certified by the Neurochange Institute, the creator of the newsletter Caring Connection that we release every week. Today we will have another newsletter, as always, and the Impact Revolution channel, which we interview professionals around the globe, entrepreneurs and startups specialists in the mindset and the mind, to redefine the business mindset. So we become more aware of what is wrong with the current and traditional ways of running businesses, and instead having a more psychological safety, collaborative, and innovative workplaces. Everything here that you see will have a link, so you can explore more into it. It's not about me, really, it's about you. But just in case, I will share all these slides. I will have done this work for you, so feel free to explore that later, okay? And join the newsletter or the channel if you want and you find it interesting for you. So, why emotional intelligence? All right, let's start with the presentation. To thrive in the age of accelerations, all right, of accelerated changes. The rate of change of technology is going at a faster rate than the human adaptability. And this gap that we see here is what is causing us a lot of stress and increasing the universal stressors factors that, according to Dr. Gabor Mate, is uncertainty, lack of information, and loss of control. All these factors, these universal stressors, are being increased because of this gap, okay? Because everything is changing so fast in our environment that our mind is not able to adapt, or our natural adaptive mind is not able to adapt. So basically, we want to be more agile, adapter, and learner. Okay, we want to have a more agile mind, and that's the mindset that I want to show you that it's possible. Okay, neuroplasticity, neuroscience have demonstrated that we can work and focus, and with deliberate practice, we can improve our health, our mental health, and improve our capacity and ability to learn. I like this phrase that Ewan O. Wilson shared, which is the real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. All right. And it is terrifically dangerous. I completely believe and support this belief of him. We need to learn how to deal with these reactive and primitive emotions, and hopefully change our institutions, and also adapt faster to godlike technology. And instead of using or letting technology to use us and to rob our focus and attention and our emotional health, to use it to actually provide us better and more liberty and more, let's say, freedom. So in teams environments, what is EQ? Yeah, is to unleash and harness the collective genius. I love this collective genius. There is so much potential in things that is not being, let's say, unleashed or harnessed, right? And you can see in this article, okay, there is analysis for 65,000 business owners, that 90% of the entrepreneurial success was due to emotional intelligence. Social skills that matter. This is done by the HBR report, and social skills, which are related with emotional intelligence, is so fundamental today, and they are in high demand. A winning culture is basically building a psychological safety, purpose, and authenticity. Employees are looking for this, all right, and they are feeling more stressed because of the loss of psychological safety, and they don't see that they have or their job have meaning or purpose, and they cannot be their true selves. Right? This is the final workforce reports that has been done globally. And this is the compound effect that I love about emotional intelligence and how everything I do and I trust, okay, and I follow, is the power of a small wins, all right? It's a little investment in yourself every day. is to be a bit better. It's that simple, okay? It's not that hard. It's like the compound effect in financial, and the financial world is the same in the emotional and in the self-development world. Positive results and small increments and small wins will compound and will increment in everything you do. So how to grow your emotional intelligence, second part of the presentation, is the double A I like to call it, is awareness and accountability. Let's start with awareness today, and then in the next session we will cover accountability. So this is the metaphor of the wavelength, okay, or the visible length spectrum, okay. There is such a little things that we can see with our eyes, but that doesn't mean that the other type of weight of the spectrums don't exist, okay? They exist, but we cannot see it with our eyes. And the mind is like an iceberg. It's the same. We have the conscious mind, which is on the top, which is what we can see, what the light that we can see, and then everything else is behind and is under. And this unconscious and subconscious mind is probably about 85, 90% according to neuroscience. And what we are aware of it is just 15%. So we are running on automatic mode and reactive mode most of the time. So Antoine de Saint-Exupéry in The Little Prince say this: "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eyes." I love this. We think that, or we pay so much attention to the visual things, all right, which is driven now in the world, and we spend little time by ourselves and within and understanding what is going on inside. And sometimes, or many times, the most important things we know they are within, and we tend to ignore them. And I hope we start not doing that, right? After this presentation. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence serves us to monitor and discriminate between emotions, evaluate and regulate emotions, and control over how we use emotions in our choices, actions, and relationships. And I love this definition from David Caruso, which is the senior advisor at University that I just, well, he posted on LinkedIn. The core of UQ is understanding that there is an intelligence to feelings, which requires actually engaging emotion as data. And we're going to share you the best practice, well, one of the best practice that we have here in the NeuroChain program, and personally the one I use, okay? And it's improving this relationship with the feelings, all right, and with our emotion within, okay, and to have these little discussions and getting the valuable information they have for us. According to the APA, an emotion, okay, is a complex reaction pattern involving experiential, which is subjective to our beliefs, physiological and behavioral elements. So the emotional cycle, as you can see here on the left, is basically thoughts or beliefs, and then the sensation, the interpretation that has a reaction, a physiological reaction. So we have an activating event outside. Okay, this is the cognitive process. Then we have a belief or how we see and interpret our life, our map. Okay, or mental maps. Which is the interpretation, that's the experiential part. And then we have the physiological and behavioral elements, which are the consequence, emotions, and behaviors. So we have a physiological reaction in our body based on what we believe that is, and then this will let's say encourage us, which is the basic of emotion, to prepare us for action and to do different behaviors. Now today we're going to focus only on the physiological part because I think that's the part that most people struggle with and they most ignore. This is image is very direct and I think is very illustrative in the terms of what we're trying to show today, which is physiological element of our body. Depending on the emotion that you are feeling, it depends on the intensity of the feeling. You will feel it in different parts of your body, all right? And normally stress and things like that can be felt here in the mind, on the head, probably in the front part, in the forehead, and then Fear sometimes could be in the stomach or in the back. It depends of every person is different, and that's the point of becoming aware of where do you feel these things, okay? Because once you become aware, then you can work on it. So it's like you have little persons or little individuals, little employees, all right, in your body, in your whole thing, okay? This is our sensations and feelings. So the point is becoming more emotional literate and understanding that there is some basic emotions or primal emotions like are these ones, and then there has all this range of secondary emotions. And the funny thing is that all these unpleasant emotions or the hard emotions that we feel, they take, according to research, 90 seconds. And I have experienced this in myself as well. And I recommend you to experience it, okay, and experiment with this, please. So there is an emotion that you feel, fear, stress, whatever. It builds, then you have a peak, and then you have a decline, all right? And you have a regression on the power of this feeling if you don't resist it, okay? So you accept and you just observe like an outside observer without any judgment, then this emotion or this feeling will come down slowly up to 90 seconds, okay? The problem is when we ruminate and when we torture ourselves with the hammer, that this can go on and on and on and on. All right. So very basic principle, 90 seconds rule. Okay. So imagine this picture next time you feel hijacked by the amygdala. All right. And the rational brain basically has 90 seconds to see from outside how is this happening within and let it be. And then later on, you can make a better decision if you just let it be for 90 seconds. Now I'm going to ask you reflection question. Is fear good or bad? This is a tricky question, okay? It's like if I asking you if breathing is good or bad. And you will say, okay, breathing is good, of course, because otherwise we wouldn't be alive. The same thing with fear. We wouldn't be alive without fear. Okay, so let's give some recognition to this fear, all right, that people are trying to avoid. We cannot avoid fear. We cannot avoid breathing, okay? Otherwise, we will be dead by now. So the point here is not repressing emotion or fears, it's about expressing them in a healthy manner and to understand what they are telling us or where they are coming from, what is the belief system that we hold that is making us react in this way, in order to be able to work with them, with this emotion, with this feeling, with our self, with our true self, to be able to respond in a more effective way and to take the decision and make the choices that will serve us the most. The Buddha said the root of all suffering is attachment. All right. We crave good feelings, good sensation, big happiness, and all this stuff that all the marketers and all the big corporation and the social media is showing us. It's kind of the fake happiness. All right. And then we had the reality, which is we try to avoid hard feelings of being fearful, of being alone, being unsafe, and we don't try to understand it. We try to ignore these feelings, and that's, I think, one of the biggest problems of the world right now, is that they don't empathize within themselves, and they don't think these feelings are appropriate, and they feel inadequate. Yeah, that's the word, inadequacy about what they feel, and that's why they feel that they cannot express their true selves. So I'm going to give you a solution, regulating unpleasant feelings, okay? So instead of say bad feelings, no, I prefer unpleasant. So because they feel a bit discomfortable, all right, in our body, but okay, it's fine, it's not the end of the world. So the first activity that I want to share with you, that I will share, the whole script later on, and you will get it in the links below, The neurochange method that we have here is the activity wherein your body, the first one, is interoceptive awareness, which is the capacity to be aware of, perceive, or know the internal state of your body. This is what Buddhists and meditators do constantly, okay? Is anapana meditation or vipassana meditation, which basically is focusing your attention in the sensations that are in your body without any judgment, all right, and just letting them be. So you tend to experience your emotions in your body first. The body reactions are more fast and mostly unconscious. And to become aware of these physical emotions, you need to feel safe and calm. Okay. Uh, for this, we recommend to practice beat driven with your eye closed, and then you focus on the reaction. Now, as we've seen before, and what I want to share additionally, okay, is that we can consider these emotions or feelings as inner babies or different animals or monkeys or primitive personalization. Okay, you can imagine whatever you want, whatever is working for you, or whatever you think they are. Okay, within you, everyone has different. Everyone can personalize it in a different way. This is in relation with what David Caruso say, that the core of Yuki is understanding that there is an intelligence to feelings, which requires actually engaging emotion as data. So the point here is how I can interact with my emotion, with my feelings within, so I can understand what they need or what they want or where they are coming from, why are reacting in this way, so I can make the right decisions to improve this relationship within, so I can make least reactive or more conscious aware of what are the best decisions I can do in the long term. I want to share this activity from Kirsten Ulmer, the author of one of the best-selling books, The Art of Fear. Basically, she says that the rational mind is the CEO, and then we have like 10,000 employees within, and these are these certain emotions, yeah, frustration, stress, anxiety, whatever you call it, and they all have a voice. All right. So the point is to collaborate with those voices instead of tell them to be quiet and ignore them and not being and repressing them. Yeah. So that's the point. We want to interact with them and we want to understand them. So I'm going to make an example because I think it's better. So I take deep breathings before, all right, and I'm in a safe, calm state. And then I visualize, all right, an event that causes me stress. I'm visualizing a game in football that I'm playing every day in the beach. That sometimes is very frustrating, okay? So imagine that this emotion and this stress is in my mind, okay? This frustration, and this is the left hand, and then my rational mind is in the right hand, okay? So how this works is that my rational mind has this intense feeling that I have, sensation here in my forehead, which is the frustration that I didn't play well, is and then the rational mind asks, "Why are you so frustrated?" Oh, I just didn't play. We didn't play well. We can play so much better, and I don't understand why we are doing this to ourselves, and I feel so frustrated for that. I know, I understand this, okay. And why do you think this is happening, you know? Well, I think it's because we care so much about what people say and what people think, and we just worry to fail. We are worried or afraid to make mistakes, to not having the right hit in the ball. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I understand. Yeah. And what can we do to make things better? I think it's flow, you know, to be our best and to be courageous, to accept that these fears are unconscious, uh, and just let it be, and practice more conscious and more aware of our body and how we move, etc. All right, that makes sense. Thank you. This is a very simple example, but the point here is that these conversations, I actually have them almost every day within myself because I want to understand, yeah, where are these thoughts and primitive thoughts coming from? Normally, they are from our ego, yeah, and not want to be seen as weak or as vulnerable, all right? And that is the ego is what is holding us back, basically. And the point about this illustration or this demonstration is to have this relationship, yeah. And as you can see, I felt so much relaxed at the end of the demonstration because that's the 90 seconds, yeah. It degrades this feeling, and I can feel it. I have done it so many times, hundreds of times, and I cannot express how important is this kind of practices. You can use any mindfulness practice that you can or you want, all right, and the one that is in line with what you feel and what you think is better for you, okay? But I'm telling you, most of the successful people do this kind of practices, transcendental mindfulness, meditations, etc. It is a reality that people use it in one way or another. They can put music or they can put any other things, but the problem or the point here is to connect with yourself and to listen to within and to quiet your mind basically and to relax your mind. So what is the emotion telling you? How is trying to serve or protect you? Okay, understand this. And what can you do for the emotion to calm it down? All right. Or how can you do to improve the situation next time? So this is another exercise that I will share with you, which is building a conceptual framework for your emotions. And the reflection abstraction is the ability to arrive at new knowledge by reflecting on knowledge one already possesses without the need of additional information. So it's basically engaging with your emotions and to understand, to write about it, to question them, to understand why are we feeling and why are we reacting in this way? What are the beliefs behind that? So I give you some instructions here, and they are all in this playboard that I will share as well. So please feel free to do it. And if you have any questions, let me know. This is something adapted from Millman words, which is pain is subjective and physical. Suffering is our psychological resistance to what happens. So resistance creates suffering. The problem in life is your mind's resistance to accept life as it unfolds. So it's resisting to these emotions, it's resisting, repressing to what is going inside that we don't want to accept it, that is making us suffer and is making us pretend that we are okay when we are not okay. And we can be okay if we listen to within, yeah? So again, how to grow your emotional intelligence? We saw awareness and accountability, okay? And they are related to each other. So the more accountability you have, the more awareness you have, and the more awareness you have, the more responsibility of your answers you will have. So next session we will cover accountability. Please don't miss it. I want to share this quote. Fear is a reaction. Have we seen it? Courage is a decision. Okay, it's not about not having fear, it's about having the courage to act in the presence of fear. So we will see what can we do or what can we rewire our mind, let's say, or how we can pursue meaningful goals in order to avoid or overcome this resistance to change, which is also natural, but is the way that we want to show you, okay? I would love to hear from you, okay, in a comment form. That is the link below this video. What have you gained from this presentation? Any questions that pop up following this webinar about EQ, about your life, about life in general, whatever, please share it so we can discuss it on Thursday on the live session. And yeah, many thanks. It was a pleasure to have our first session. That's my email, that's my LinkedIn account. Again, the links will be on the slides. And I want to finish with this quote, okay, from the Swami Paramananda. Self-realization means that we have been consciously connected with our source of being. Once we have made these connections, then nothing can go wrong. The time that I accept my emotions as they are, all right, and I was not being judgmental about it, and I become accountable and responsible of my actions and how, uh, taking responsibility basically of my life. I don't feel nothing can go wrong, okay? It doesn't matter what happens in the environment and in the changing world, in the accelerated changing world. I know I can trust myself now, and that's a relief, because not trusting yourself, I think, is one of the big issues in our life. I hope you love or you like this presentation. At least I do. We have worked very hard for you for this. So yeah, I hope you live, and I wish you that you live an extraordinary life, and you really deserve to live up to your full potential. Thank you so much.